In this video, I'll teach you how I believe that you can get more value and learn more from all of your everyday experiences. Watch the entire video to learn how to transform a situation or experience that doesn't teach you anything into a situation that teaches you something or some things. I discovered this way of learning by listening to a lot of things that a guy called Ed Mylett has said, who I consider to be an online mentor. Now, he is not only an online mentor, he does run a lot of businesses, and that's why I follow him, but he has a lot of good things to say. So I've taken a couple of things of what he has said and applied to my life, and I've learned how to focus on my long-term goals a lot more. Now, through that focus, I've been able to discover this way of learning, which I'm about to teach you right now. So without further ado, let me fill you in on the details on how I turn entertaining or boring situations into being educating situations as well, removing the boredom out of boring experiences and combining entertainment with education. Let's get started with the video. The way that I learn from every situation and the way that I'm going to teach you how to learn from every situation is a lot about how to focus your observation skills and gain perspective of a situation. It is a little bit hard to grasp, so I'm going to explain this through a story. As some of you may know, a couple of days ago, I visited the Google Digital Academy in Stockholm. There was an event there called a Digital Safari, which claimed to they claim to know a lot about the future and brief us about cool things that are happening. And also, there were a couple of companies there that advertised their products. But the email that I got from my mother told me that I would learn more about the future of technology and get a better insight of what technology looks like in the future. So I haven't been to one of these events, and me being a computer scientist and all, I felt like, well, it's my third year at university, I should probably attend one of these events. So I decided to go. I went there and listened in what they had to say. Some of the information was new to me and started brewing a lot of thoughts in my mind. Other information was repetition for me. Since I am studying a computer scientist education, I do know a lot about technology, but I don't want to be cocky. There's always a lot more to learn. I'm not even close to learning everything about technology. There's always new things happening, but some of the things that they said were repetitive to me, which made me become a little bit bored, and I started to feel like the event wasn't really for me. It was more for people with general knowledge, not as specialized knowledge as I have attending a computer scientist education program and everything. As I had this thought of the event not really being for me, but being for people with more general knowledge or people that don't really know that much about tech, I started pondering on other things in the event. So my observation went from the information that they were outputting on the presentation into observing what was really going on in the whole situation. And through that, I started learning on what was going on in that event. I stopped focusing on the content of the event and started focusing on what was really going on in the event. Now, there's a big difference there. I started observing how the organizers had put together the event, how they had set up the whole thing, what the agenda was like, how it worked, what worked well, what didn't work well. And all of that information gives me knowledge on how I could possibly put together an event that's similar to that event that I attended at the Google Digital Academy. So what I did was I gathered information of how they organized their presentation and their event that they have performed several times at several locations. And I got that information, I put that in my mind so that I could possibly make a better event in the future with an organization that I am driving in the future, because that's one of my long-term goals. I want to run a big or large, organization. I want to run an organization. It doesn't really have to be big in the beginning, but in the end, I want to manage and organize an organization. That's the bottom line. And that's how I work. I'm really obsessed about that. I want it to be a tech organization. And I'm so obsessed about that fact that I can start connecting knowledge or happenings in different situations to my long-term goals and think, how can I apply this and learn something from this situation so that it is valuable to me and to my long-term goals? What can I find in this situation that is a good takeaway that can help me in the future towards my long-term goals? And that's what I do. I start focusing on the small things, things that might not be as obvious as just listening to the content of the event or the content of the presentations, but also just observing what was really going on. That gives me information that I can use towards my long-term goals. And if I do this in every situation that I get into that is not informative or boring or just entertaining, if I use it and really observe what people do that I aspire to be like, or people that organize something that is successful, and if I observe that, I can get a lot of knowledge from those situations and from those people and from those organizations and really use that towards my own advantage. So that's what I do. I start observing different aspects of the situation to learn more. And the beautiful thing is, this value accumulates, this intellectual value accumulates, because if I do this in every situation I'm in, I start learning from everything. I start observing everything, and I see how I can use different parts of different situations towards my long-term goals. It could be any situation, really. It doesn't have to be an event, like in this case, in this story. It could be a situation, a social situation at a party. How people, how group dynamic works, and how some people in the, maybe the finance branch and the tech branch differ in the way that they communicate, in the way that the group dynamic goes together. Everything that you experience, every situation has golden nuggets that you can pick and take with you into your large sack of golden nuggets and keep treading towards your long-term goals with all that knowledge, and just start picking all these nuggets up from every experience you have. And in the end, you'll have this large sack that's probably too heavy to bear, and you'll just have to, empty all that knowledge into your long-term goals and into your life and start building the future and the future that you would like, the life that you would like, with all that knowledge that you've accumulated through every experience that you have. I'm sorry if my imagination got carried away and really caught you off guard. My point is, you can learn from every situation that you have in ways that you haven't thought of before. You just have to open your perspective and shift your focus into some things that may be valuable to you in non-intuitive ways. So for me, the non-intuitive ways was how they organized the event. And that was really valuable to me. Now, after the event, as I continue my story, I started talking to the different organizers, because there were several companies who had gone together to create this event. I talked to different organizers and I studied how they work together and how they, as a group of organizations, marketed each other through these events, and as a team helped each other grow to different levels. So they had done this, I don't know for how long, but they had successfully done this for quite some time, and they had grown together each time they did it. And that's a natural reaction, because you do get attention if you create an event and you present yourself and present some good information, and then after the presentations also present some tech products. That's how you raise awareness of your organization. Well, that's not the only way, but that is one way. And that's also a key thing that I took away from that experience that I thought was a little bit boring in the middle of the presentations, but I quickly shifted my mindset and my observation perspective into learning more things about things that I didn't even think that I would learn from that event. I thought I would learn some futuristic stuff about tech. I ended up learning a lot about organizing events and how to grow together as different companies, and how to market yourself and how to market your products. And really, all of these organizations that I listened to were in a startup phase. So I also studied how they worked, how big they were, how far they had come in the process of being a startup. All of these things, information that I got simply because I decided to focus on the right things in a situation that might be seen as boring. The bottom line here is there's always more to learn from a situation. So now I want to challenge you guys. I want to challenge you to the next time you feel like you're bored or a situation is not really being valuable to you, start taking a step back and thinking, how can I make this situation valuable to me? How can I get the information in this situation to favor me in a way that can help my progress towards my long-term goals, or towards my health, or towards anything really, towards something productive? How can you use the information that's going on in a situation to favor you in a way that you like? Think about that next time you're in a boring or non-valuable situation. That's it for this Mindset Mania video. If you learned something from this video, make sure to drop a like below. If you got something to contribute to this discussion, something that I may have missed in the video, make sure to drop a comment below. Share your knowledge or your perspective with everyone, including me, making me learn even more about this subject. If you haven't subscribed already, click that button coming up after the intro, and I'll see you guys next week. But until then, stay driven.